Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, so, do.
The Sound of Music wasn't just a movie. It was a miracle that almost didn't happen. Behind the sunshine and songs was chaos, near disasters in the mountains, a leading man who hated his part, and a role Julie Andrews nearly lost before cameras even rolled. What started as a risky musical in the Austrian Alps turned into one of the most beloved films in history, but not without struggle, laughter, and a few shocking secrets along the way. These are 20 weird facts about The Sound of Music that even the biggest fans never knew. Fact 1. The turbulent opening scene. That breathtaking moment of Julie Andrews twirling in the Alps looks serene, but it was anything but. As a helicopter circled to capture the shot, its rotor wash blasted her with powerful gusts of wind, knocking her down again and again. It took multiple takes, grass stains, and sheer determination before they finally got the perfect shot. Fact 2. The escape that never happened. In the movie, the Von Trapps make a daring climb over the mountains into Switzerland. But the truth was far less dramatic. In real life, they simply boarded a train to Italy. The mountain trek was pure Hollywood imagination, and geographically impossible, since Salzburg isn't anywhere near the Swiss border. Fact 3. The 16 going on 17 accident. Charmian Carr, who played Liesel, was actually 21 during filming, and her famous gazebo dance nearly ended in disaster. While filming 16 going on 17, she slipped on the wet floor, crashed through a window, and sprained her ankle. Ever the professional, she kept filming, her bandaged leg carefully hidden beneath her dress. Fact 4. The $9,000 story. Back in 1955, facing financial troubles, Maria von Trapp sold the film rights to her family's story for just $9,000. She never earned a cent in royalties. Even after The Sound of Music went on to make nearly $300 million worldwide. Fact 5. Filming 2 endings in one day. On June 4, 1964, the cast and crew pulled off something remarkable. They filmed both the breathtaking opening and the emotional closing scenes in Melk, Bavaria, all in a single day. The story's beginning and end were captured back-to-back. Fact 6. Real nuns on set. Not all the nuns you see in the Abbey were actors. Several were real nuns from local convents. Mixing professionals with actual sisters gave the scenes an authenticity and warmth that made the convent feel truly alive. Fact 7. The lake scene panic. During the lake scene, little Kim Carath, who played Gretel, accidentally fell into the water despite not knowing how to swim. Julie Andrews tried to grab her, but both ended up submerged, sending the set into chaos until crew members quickly dove in to pull them to safety. Fact 8. The silhouette kiss. During the romantic something good scene, the studio lights kept buzzing loudly, ruining take after take. Finally, director Robert Wise came up with a fix. He turned off the lights and filmed the moment in silhouette. The result? One of the most beautifully iconic shots in movie history. Fact 9. The locked gazebo. The original 16 going on 17 gazebo was relocated to Hellbrunn Palace, but after countless fans tried to recreate the famous dance and ended up getting hurt, officials decided to lock it for good. Fact 10. Friedrich's growth problem. Nicholas Hammond, who played Friedrich, had a major growth spurt during filming, shooting up 6 inches from 5 feet 3 inches to 5 feet 9 inches. His sudden height caused chaos for the crew, who had to tweak costumes and camera angles to keep him looking shorter than Liesel. Fact 11. The man who hated the sound of music. Christopher Plummer played Captain Von Trapp with grace and authority, but in reality, he couldn't stand the movie. He mockingly called it The Sound of Mucus, saying it was far too sugary and sentimental. Lonely in Salzburg, He often escaped to local beer halls to drown his frustration. Yet that very tension gave his performance depth. During Edelweiss, he reportedly teared up, his resentment giving way to raw emotion. Ironically, the role he despised became the one audiences loved him for most. Fact 12. The voice that wasn't his. Christopher Plummer's touching rendition of Edelweiss wasn't actually his own voice. Producers decided his vocals weren't strong enough and brought in professional singer Bill Lee to dub the song. Plummer later admitted Lee did a beautiful job, but it still hurt to have such a key moment taken out of his hands. Fact 13. The role Julie Andrews almost lost. Julie Andrews wasn't the first choice to play Maria von Trapp. Producers first asked Doris Day, who joked, "I'm not a nun." Audrey Hepburn turned it down, and Grace Kelly was tied to her royal duties in Monaco. Only then did composer Richard Rodgers push for Andrews. Studio executives were unsure, until Walt Disney showed them Mary Poppins. One look, and they were convinced. A contract dispute nearly derailed it, but fate had other plans. Julie Andrews was Maria, and the rest is history. Fact 14. The Do-Re-Mi chaos. The Do-Re-Mi scene may look bright and carefree, but filming it was anything but. Sudden storms in Salzburg constantly shut down production, soaking costumes and even warping instruments. Editors later had to piece together shots filmed weeks apart, mixing sunny skies with gloomy clouds. On screen, it's pure joy. Behind the scenes, it was a non-stop fight against the unpredictable Austrian weather. Fact 15. The parade that shocked Salzburg. Filming the Anschluss parade caused real outrage in Salzburg. Massive swastika flags were hung across the city's historic center, and the sight was so realistic that locals were horrified. Some even called the police. For many Austrians, the pain of Nazi rule was still fresh, and seeing those symbols again was unbearable. City officials quickly stepped in, demanding new permits and tighter control. What was meant as set decoration had reopened deep wounds. On screen, the flags marked the Von Trapp's darkest moment. Off-screen, they forced Salzburg to confront a past it hadn't yet healed from. Fact 16. The darker version that almost happened. It's hard to picture The Sound of Music as anything but a joyful classic, but it almost wasn't that way. Before Robert Wise came on board, the film was set to be directed by William Wyler, the Oscar-winning filmmaker behind Ben-Hur. A refugee from Nazi Germany, Wyler wanted a much darker version, one filled with Nazi rallies, swastikas, and the grim reality of Austria's role in the war. His vision was about guilt and loss, not music and love. When Wyler left to make The Collector, Fox handed the reins to Robert Wise, who transformed it completely, turning anger into romance and tragedy into timeless harmony. Fact 17. The real Maria wasn't in love. Audiences adored the love story between Julie Andrews and Christopher Plummer, but the real Maria von Trapp had a very different tale to tell. She admitted she hadn't fallen for Georg first. Her heart belonged to his children. "The romance came later," she once said. "I really wasn't in love. I loved the children, so in a way I married the children." She even laughed off the idea of dancing in a gazebo, calling it pure Hollywood fantasy. Still, Maria praised Julie Andrews' warmth and charm, proud that her story had touched millions, even if the real version was far less of a fairy tale. Fact 18. The real Von Trapp's true story. Hollywood's version gave us a strict father, 7 mischievous kids, and a governess who found love through music. But the real Von Trapp story was much softer. Georg wasn't the stern disciplinarian we saw on screen. He was gentle, affectionate, and adored by his children. Maria was hired to tutor just one child who was ill, not to care for the whole family. Their marriage took place 11 years before the Nazi annexation, and Maria later admitted she didn't love Georg at first. Her heart belonged to the children. The real story was far less perfect, but far more human. And maybe that's exactly why it still feels timeless. Fact 19. The movie that saved a studio. By 1963, 20th Century Fox was in serious trouble. The studio had poured its fortune into Cleopatra, a chaotic, over-budget epic that almost bankrupted them. Then came a small, hopeful story about a governess, 7 children, and the power of music. Executives didn't expect much. Musicals were fading, and Rodgers and Hammerstein were considered old-fashioned. But when The Sound of Music premiered in 1965, it became a worldwide phenomenon, surpassing Gone with the Wind as the highest-grossing film ever and winning 5 Oscars, including Best Picture. More than just a hit, it saved Fox from financial ruin. What Cleopatra broke, The Sound of Music healed. Not with drama, but with heart. Fact 20. The toughest scene to film. The lonely goat herd may look playful and effortless, but it was one of the hardest scenes to shoot. The marionettes, crafted by master puppeteers Bill and Cora Baird, had to yodel, dance, and spin perfectly in sync with the music. Julie Andrews and the child actors spent 3 weeks rehearsing how to control them, learning every pull, twist, and flick of the strings. Choreographers Mark Brough and Dee Dee Wood even created an entire dance routine just for the puppets. On screen, it's pure charm. Behind the scenes, it was a painstaking mix of patience, teamwork, and tangled strings. And there you have it. The wild, wonderful, and downright surprising stories behind The Sound of Music. From near disasters in the Alps to hidden heartbreaks and behind-the-scenes miracles, it's clear this timeless classic was anything but ordinary. But now, we want to hear from you. Which of these facts shocked you the most? Or did we miss one of your favorites? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more fascinating stories about The Sound of Music, 1965, and other unforgettable Hollywood classics.